Health is Wealth with Dr. Mike is brought to you by Pizzaville. You can still enjoy your favorite pizza and follow a plant-based diet with Pizzaville's new vegan, dairy-free mozzarella cheese. Plant-based, soybean-free, nut-free, gluten-free, and casein-free. Substitute on any pizza at no additional charge. Health is Wealth with Dr. Mike on 1059 The Region.
You're listening to 1059 The Region, and this is Health is Wealth with Dr. Mike Carrozza. I'm Tina Cortez. Good morning, Dr. Mike.
Good morning, Tina, and to all our listeners.
Now, we're heading into the holiday season. I know it's a little early, but whether you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas, under normal circumstances, it's about food and drink. And while it may not be quite the same this year, we should still not overindulge the sweets and alcohol, right, Dr. Mike?
That's right. I think this Christmas is going to be a little different. So I think what we need to do is focus on our immune system. Now, we know we're going to be gathering with family members. Of course, these have to be at a very low number count. You know, we're not going to have the 50 people celebrations, the office Christmas parties. You know, a lot of these things are not going to be happening this year. So what's important is for our families and our loved ones, for everybody around us, if we could really be careful with the things that are going to lower our immune system so we can better enjoy the holiday season and have a little bit more fun with this. So basically, sugar is going to decrease the immune system and give rise to your immune system not being able to fight, right? And then alcohol is also going to dampen your immune system. So it's actually going to lower your immune ability. And when we talk about lowering immune system, what are we speaking about? We're talking about things like white blood cells, which actually go out and we mobilize these in our body to go out and scavenge and really just get rid of toxins and fight off infection. And then when your body sort of doesn't have the army in which to do so, then your immune system is what we like to call is compromised. So, you know, we don't want to have an overindulgence, but also there's a nice little, there's a lot of people that are doing this right now, and they're really honing in and taking it easy right now, and meaning that they're not going out, they're really just bunkering down because they realize maybe they have an elderly grandmother or an elderly parent that they want to communicate with and sort of have the holiday season. Look, we can still have a healthy holiday season so as long as we can control the variables. And what I mean by the variables is we can control the amount of individuals that are coming in and out of our home, because we can ask these individuals to say, hey, look, if you're working outside or if you're going out, maybe this is not the best time for you. Otherwise, maybe they can work from home for the first couple of weeks. And I know a lot of schools are doing this. A lot of schools are going online for about 2 weeks before the Christmas holidays to sort of make sure that we all have a Christmas. Look, everybody wants to have either a Christmas or Hanukkah, and everybody wants to enjoy this holiday season as much as we possibly can. And for those people, for our listeners, those ones who have children, we still want to give them the gifts. We still want to make them feel like Santa Claus is coming and the entire Christmas season and the holiday is there. Look, we're not going away. We're not going down south like maybe more normal people usually take vacation time. But we can still enjoy each other's company if we can control some of the variables. And some of the variables also contain things like the amount of sugar you're consuming, the amount of sleep you actually get, and the amount of alcohol you're consuming. So, you know, maybe you want to save it to maybe that time that you're having that company, and maybe right now don't have the sugar gearing up towards Christmas. And maybe just wait for that day to have the chocolates and your favorite meal, so at least you can enjoy them together. And I think, Tina, that's really the best advice we can give our listeners is that, you know, your immune system starts with your gut, starts with your diet, and starts with things like your sleeping habits and how much you want to sort of reflect in how you're consuming the amount of toxins. And so if you could diminish this amount and lower the intake of things like alcohol and sugar and increase more fruits and vegetable consumption, at least you'll get healthier and you'll feel good.
Now, what if we're not moving as much this time of year either? What else can we be doing to make sure that we're getting the exercise we need?
Well, I mean, you know, gyms are closed, so this is going to be a problem, right? So a lot of people are looking to this. I mean, so everybody needs to get moving in their house. And I know everybody, probably the majority of our listeners, have a treadmill, have some kind of bike that's collecting dust, and it doesn't even get utilized. This is the time you have to break out these exercise tools. And even if you have a skipping rope, it's still something that you can do. We have to start getting moving into our own home, because this is something that we're going to have to do this winter, whether we like it or not. And I know a lot of my patients are on the Peloton, which is an amazing device. And it's basically just having an exercise bike with a screen, and you can join on with like classes, and you can ride with other individuals and feel like virtually you're there. But this is great, and these are ways in which people are moving. So, and even if you don't have the Peloton, I think I mentioned this on our last segment. Even if you don't have the Peloton bike itself, because maybe you don't want, that the bike is expensive, but maybe you want to actually sign up to the platform, because you can actually pay a fee and then just sign up with your laptop or your smart TV. And if you have just a regular exercise bike or treadmill, you can just, log into these virtual exercise. And then some local gyms are also doing virtual classes. I know one of my patients has a big Zumba class, and he's doing it completely virtual, which is really good, and it's motivating. Really just try to find whatever can motivate you. And as long as you can get motivated, whatever that is, at least you can get moving. And it doesn't have to be long, Tina. I always tell my patients, you don't have to do an hour. 15 to 20 minutes a day, believe me, will be so useful for you, and it will be very helpful. So just move a little bit will go a long way.
Great advice. After the break, how the sauna promotes better circulation. This is Health is Wealth on 105.9 The Region. Stay with us.
Have a question for Dr. Mike? Call us at 416-335-1059. Tweet us at 1059 The Region, or email us at info@1059theregion.com. More with Dr. Mike and Health is Wealth when we come back.
It was a rainy day in Pizzaville when we realised that our extra large pizza is 2 whole inches longer than the so-called extra large from the big pizza conglomerates. How do they even call theirs extra large when Pizzaville gives you 18 whopping inches, steaming hot? Because, let's be honest, who wouldn't want 2 more inches?
Pizzaville Stone-Baked Pizza. Fiercely Canadian. Authentically Italian.
Health is Wealth is back with Dr. Mike on 105.9 The Region.
She's going to actually give us some really good information on how to sauna, what saunas are going to do for us, and how we can get our immune system right now in tip-top shape. So thank you very much for joining us, Anna.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Mike, for having me back.
Well, in our last segment, of course, we discussed about our largest organ, the skin, how detoxification is very important, how our immune system is actually going to be really, really important to, especially right now, to get in sort of tip-top shape. And we really want to get this started. We really want to, deploy these immune cells. And a way to do this is by doing a sauna. And, when we talked about, we spoke about the skin, and you mentioned about getting the skin primed, of course, and you mentioned about getting a loofah and get rid of some of the dead skin on your largest organ, which is the skin. And it's responsible for getting rid of these toxins, and through sauna, of course, it will pull the toxins out. So if you're not a person who sweats, sauna therapy is definitely for you, because we want to raise the temperature, and by raising the temperature of the body, we stimulate the immune system, and by stimulating the immune system, we really want to try to get our immune cells. But then with the detoxification that comes, it's going to come through the skin. So prepping your skin and priming your skin is going to be important, and really it helps purifying your skin. So your skin will start glowing as well. And, you mentioned a really good technique is, after the sauna, you want to make sure you rinse, because you want to get rid of those toxins, and I thought that was really important for our listeners. But once we get into this segment, I want to talk about, again, the immune system, and let's discuss about circulation, because circulation is important. And one of the things I love about saunas, and my personal favorite, is that obviously, if you work out, you'll sweat. and you'll actually help your circulation. And you'll help your immune system. But when you do a sauna, there's so many benefits that actually come about by doing a sauna, and we mentioned a few last week, and I'd like to continue this. And in terms of circulation, the heat of a sauna will help the circulation. Anna, can you speak to point on that, please?
Absolutely. So increasing the circulation in the sauna will actually help to normalize your blood flow. And therefore, now we're going to lower our blood pressure and cholesterol. So it's not only a conditioning of the skin. Let's look at exactly that. Blood circulation is key, and it can be so effective in a sauna, allowing the blood flow to be normal, right? Let's have that normal blood flow. Let's lower the blood pressure, and let's get those, rich nutrients up and going in our bloodstream.
So I want to break it down and for our listeners and see how this gets done. So basically, it's extremely important to understand how the body works, because if you understand how the body works, then it'll give you a clear indication of how things like your blood pressure gets better in the circulation. So what happens is the heat causes a vasodilation. And the vasodilation within the major arteries. So for our listeners out there that are on blood pressure medication or on heart medication, really consult your doctor or your healthcare professional, because, although saunas are extremely important, you want to make sure temperature and everything is right for you. But the most important part is when the heat from the sauna causes vasodilation. So this or vasodilation it basically means it's enlarging the major arteries in your body. And what that does is that causes them to become, they're able to store more volume, and now will actually decrease the pressure. As for our listeners could imagine, almost like a garden hose, and if you squeeze it tight or if you apply pressure, that garden hose is going to squirt out, and you'll be able to water your lawn very easily. And so when you're in a sauna, you lower the pressure, and this will actually help lower blood pressure for a lot of individuals. And this is how it promotes circulation, because it provides the oxygen-rich nutrients to your extremities. So basically, circulating blood throughout your body without being constricted. And let's face it, we're in a go-go society, Anna. So this is where everybody's in a go-go state. So the rest, the digest, the relaxation state, there's not a lot of individuals that are in that state. And I think a sauna does that very thing for a lot of our, for our human, race. And of course, in our population, I think people should, enjoy one. But in terms of how it affects your body, how many people get to relax and get to allow their circulation to, properly get to where it is. So in the hustle and bustle in our everyday lives, it's very difficult for our circulation to sort of get to every part of our bodies, in our small little veins in our fingers to our feet. And so, this is where circulation, this is where saunas can help circulation, right, Anna?
Absolutely. We're looking at just minutes a day, right? I know we're all busy. The world is busy. It's interesting. I read an article that said, everyone is always busy. But for minutes a day, the amount of benefits you can get from a sauna. Bring a book in. If you need to watch TV, and watch it from sitting in the sauna, but get it done, because it's something that we need more so than ever these days. And then when we talk about circulation, obviously it benefits the heart, the musculature, and the arteries. We talked about the vasodilation with respect to the arteries. And in terms of the muscles, one of the most important muscles in the human body is the heart muscle. And we need this to pump and properly. And a sauna can definitely help this, especially with the circulation. But something that's really important is, you may sweat a lot in a sauna. And maybe, Anna, you can give some points as to, obviously it's very important to replenish the electrolytes so that you do the sauna therapy. So drinking enough water, I think, is going to be important, right, Anna? Absolutely. The more hydrated you are, the more effective the saunas are, right? So if you want to bring a bottle of water, or sometimes I say drink a few glasses before you go in, all these extra
steps to further enhance your sweat levels and detoxification. But absolutely, maybe getting electrolytes just to replenish as well.
And my favorite thing to drink in a sauna is water that's, so for myself, I have a reverse osmosis filtration system that actually has electrolytes added to it through natural coral. And so when you clean the water, you want to make sure you have the minerals added back. And that's what you're going to need in a sauna. So you can probably get a mineral, or maybe even drinking mineral water that has electrolytes already would be a good idea as well. And then as we move through this segment, we want to talk about, again, how we're going to increase our immune system. And then cellular regeneration is a term that I know is used very commonly in sauna and sauna practices. So, infrared sauna uses obviously heat, and this is how it strengthens the immune system, but it increases and it stimulates cell regeneration. Anna, can you describe that a little bit and tell our listeners what that means?
Yes, absolutely. I think, as we just mentioned previously, circulation and cellular regeneration are almost hand in hand, right? So once our full body is going to get exposed to a sauna treatment, allowing, again, the pores to open up and getting a full body, resulting in softer, smoother skin, right? We're going to get that deeper penetration to remove the impurities and toxins, increase the blood circulation, which therefore also gives us that skin tone, leaving, glowing, right? So it's going to be that total skin rejuvenation as well as cellular regeneration.
And then, another question I think is important for our listeners is, how do we know we have poor circulation? I mean, I guess I want to give our listeners some symptoms, because I treat a lot of patients in practice, and poor circulation, sometimes signs and symptoms of poor circulation are not as common. Maybe our listeners wouldn't know what that means or what that is. And so if you're feeling numbness, if you're feeling tingling, if you're feeling loss of sensation, of course your family doctor and your medical practitioner who's involved in your care should always know about this. So obviously bring this to the light, of course. I advise all my patients, of course, to speak to this point. But if you have any of these signs or symptoms, this is directly related to poor circulation. And of course, a classic sign of poor circulation are people who sit down for long periods of time and have their knees bent and really it's very challenging for the heart to pump blood all the way to the ankles. And so for these individuals, we normally recommend in practice to sleep with their feet elevated above the level of their heart so it allows ease. But something like a sauna will definitely help with the circulation. Now, regeneration, and we have old cells. We have old and damaged cells that get changed over and over again. And these become ineffective, and they need to get replaced with new cells. So heat from the infrared sauna will catalyze, if not synthesize, the regeneration process. And this is especially beneficial during cold and flu season because, and Anna can speak to this point, but when you have soldiers and you're deploying your soldiers, which are your immune cells I'm referring to, when the ones are frail and they're not really working hard and they're not well, and you really want to make some really stronger soldiers, you want to get these immune cells to be in tip-top shape. Isn't that correct, Anna?
Absolutely. We need to definitely regenerate that, right? We can't keep it old and stagnant. We need to get the new cells exposed, get rid of the dead skin cells, and definitely allowing that in the infrared or traditional sauna.
And of course, I'll discuss about a study, and I'll end off with that. But basically, another key point, and we mentioned it earlier, but I want to just hone in on this because we talk about this with things like cortisol. We talked about stress and fight or flight, and so for our listeners out there, the fight or flight state, it's a term in medicine we use to describe the high stressful environment. And this is pretty much hustle and bustle. This is what the layman's terms describes what's going on in society today. And that means busy moms, busy dads, busy lifestyle of just constantly being on. And unfortunately,
not having the time to unwind. And let's face it, unwinding in front of the TV with a bag of potato chips is something that we all, everybody does, and I'd like to make sure that we definitely don't do that, especially during this time, and it's not a good idea. And so what we're recommending is definitely doing something that's going to pretty much elicit a relaxation response, because the rest and digest state, the relaxation state, this is what's going to fight things like cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone in the body that actually represents stressor and stressors in our body. And this can alter many biochemical reactions for many women and men, and will throw off some of the key hormones in the body that would actually give rise to things like, just for example, weight gain. Okay? So in order to combat this cortisol, we need things in our life that are going to actually cause us to do more rest in the digest. And when you think about rest and digestion, because if you can rest and digest, you will have better bowel movements, you'll be able to relax a little bit more, and you'll be able to enjoy things like your meals without hurrying up and eating, and you'll stimulate your body's process of releasing key enzymes to help you digest. So high stress levels result in weakened immune system. So it all comes back to this, right, Anna Maria?
It does, and that's where I believe, the infrared saunas is proven just that, right? It's a total body. So we're looking at stress, relaxation, immune system. They're all interconnected. So if we can get a total body in a one-session infrared sauna, that will allow these excess cortisol levels to become weakened, right? Like if we get that we can release the body from the stress, it's imperative, especially going into winter months, SAD, So we're definitely going to use the sauna to allow for these high stress levels to be removed and detoxed.
Yeah, and it's all about the mind and body. So like you can balance this cortisol, and this will help the mind and body. I just want to leave off with this wonderful study in 2013 that I think was obviously from the Finnish Society, because that's where saunas were definitely born. And so the effect of a single Finnish-style sauna, which is the sauna we're describing here, is increased white blood cell profile and cortisol levels in athletes and non-athletes. So basically, sauna bathing causes higher body mass loss and plasma volume in athletes compared to the group of non-athletes. And then after the sauna session, an increased number of white blood cells, lymphocytes, actually counts was reported. So this is well documented, in higher increments of things like leukocytes and monocytes after a sauna bathing session were recorded in groups of athletes compared to untrained subjects. So basically increasing your immune cells. And these kinds of results indicate that sauna bathing will actually stimulate the immune system at a higher degree. And I think this is what's really important. And thank you very much, Anna, for coming on the show. Thank you for your expertise. And for all our listeners, if they want more information on SaunaCore, where can they get it, Anna?
They could definitely find us on our website, saunacore.com. Alternatively, calling us at 905-857-8085, and our social media channels, Twitter and Instagram. And thank you, Dr. Mike, for having me. It was my pleasure.
And Dr. Mike, if our listeners want to connect or want more information about AppleMed, where can they find you?
They can reach us at applemed.ca. They can call us at 905-303-4622. They can see us and watch our IGTVs on Instagram at AppleMed Clinic. And thank you very much for our guest, Anna Maria. Thank you very much, Tina. And thank you very much for our listeners. And this is Health is Wealth, and with Dr. Mike. And everybody, stay safe and be well.
Previous episodes of Health is Wealth on 1059theregion.com. Thanks for listening.
Connect with us on Twitter at 1059theregion or call 416-335-1059 or email info@1059theregion.com. This is 1059 The Region. Health is Wealth is brought to you by AppleMed Clinic, located at 3560 Rutherford Road, Unit 45. AppleMed takes a results-driven approach to patient care. Remember, an AppleMed day keeps illness away.